and today I'm going to get to why I even made this in the first place and basically what Escaping Paradise is. They're one and the same, but to better get to the end goal, I rather explain the origin story. So I am almost at the mid 20 mark, around 25 years old, and I've come to the conclusion that the goal of attaining true clout, the goal that I truly, absolutely want, it's out of my reach. I can't do it anymore. I cannot grasp what I truly want to dream for. So I will have to settle for what is the most comfortable for me to do. Now, when I say this, I mean a multitude of factors. So, number one, I've gone through several phases of my life where I have tried to start a YouTube channel or be a SoundCloud rapper, this, that, and the third. Try to entertain people, this, that, and the third. But there are a multitude of factors that stop me from continuing on to becoming that to my fullest potential. Now, one of the factors I do want to mention that really hurt me the most would probably be around the fact that I don't have a genuine struggle. The only struggle I do have is the lack of a struggle that permits one because I have no struggle. You know what I mean? It perpetuates one by not having one. It'll make sense when I further explain this. So, because I didn't have a genuine struggle to keep me grounded, to keep me going, there's no like getting worse than this, because the worst is still really good in comparison to everything else in the world. I had no reason to not want immediate success, and being impatient is a very, very key factor in a person who is, let's just say, a zoomer. Now, at this point, where I am at, all I want to do is just do things, right? Because I've been told not doing things is not the way to go. So as I continue doing things, I realize that doing them because I'm doing them is not enough purpose to fulfill you if you run into inevitable failures, inevitable potholes. Because if, for example, if you go through an entire year and you get no one looking at you, then you will become, doubtful of your quest. Now, the reason why I started that quest in the first place is because to escape the paradise of being a normal person, I can just chase my dreams, become that of which I am. But instead, because I have very, very, very reasonable circumstances, if my dream was shattered, I would be able to live on my life normally. I have nothing else to pursue after the dream is shattered. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, basically, the dream is all I want, and since I have nothing else in comparison to that dream, everything else is just subpar, and I'll just be settling for everything else after that. And so, where I'm at now is essentially trying to escape paradise, escape this mindset as to where I have no struggle and I need to continuously keep chasing what I need to chase. I want to escape that mindset. I just want to be me. I just want to do me. Now, that's selfish monologue out of the way. It does basically explain as to why escaping paradise is a thing. Now, a couple things I want to talk about. One thing in particular is why venting is helpful, right? Why we need to get all of our emotions out, why we need to just push all the toxins out of our body. It mainly comes and stems from the fact that if we don't, it builds up. And as it builds up over time, you begin to realize that, oh, wait, that thing I thought 4 weeks ago, it's still there. I thought it was gone. No, it's still in my brain, and it's still haunting me to this day, and it's still pervading my current day mindset, and it's making me just a weaker and weaker individual than what I truly should have been at my peak. You know what I mean? And at this point, I just want to say that through everything, through the lack of adoration, through the full extent of adoration, you still have to face yourself. You have to face your fears. You have to realize that even though you can't achieve what you want to achieve, you have to realize, is it worth achieving in the first place? when you think about anything, just anything in general, you have two routes. One is either you just try to relate that to what it is into your current life, or two, try to see why you thought of it in the first place. Now, my paradise isn't only a cursed but blessed upbringing. It's also this mindset of constant burnout mentality. As a matter of fact, I do not get any feeling of success if I do not burn myself out to the highest extent. I do not feel like I got any day's work if I don't fully drive my body to its limits. I don't. And it shouldn't be that way. I shouldn't have such a self-destructive tendency to work, because I will not be able to get any work done, because only I can work is if I fully complete the task and more to my extent, to my thought of completion. And self-destructiveness is also another sign that maybe you shouldn't be chasing dreams. Maybe you should be chasing rationality. Maybe you should be chasing normalcy. Maybe you should be chasing something that won't harm you while chasing. So I feel like the act of chasing and the act of the hunt itself is part of the main reason as to why many people, like myself, fall time and time and time and time again. Again, why am I escaping paradise? Because it's paradise, it isn't what I truly want. Okay. At the beginning of everything, at the beginning of my tirades, of my escapades, of my adventures of being a young lad, I experienced a sense of completion, a sense of elation whenever I saw someone laugh at something I did, whenever I saw someone agree with something I did, whenever I heard someone say they liked me, whenever I heard them say their name. I craved attention because I was, at the time, showing and exhibiting narcissistic tendencies. And these narcissistic tendencies varied, but they were more centered around this: me pleasing others and others pleasing me by rewarding me for a sound or any positive affirmation. Now, does that mean I didn't get any attention at home? No, quite the opposite. But that's besides the point. So, with my adoration and continuous affliction and affiliation of fulfillment in life with adulation and people admiring you, I decided to make that my pure goal. I decided to want to pursue that by any means necessary. So, from as far as I can remember, the very first thing I did in that avenue that's related to content creation or anything related to that would make people, think or laugh or even enjoy life itself is my first YouTube career. Now, this YouTube career is quite interesting because of the fact that it included the phase of me that was a quirky serial killer on the inside, but a neat on the outside. I got fired from my job. I dropped out of college. And I was just trying to find myself. And at this point, I already had a successful channel, but I deleted it because I was going through immense depression at the time. But this channel that I made, I had around 70 subscribers, and at the time I was actually being talked about because I was in some YouTube drama beef on another podcast at the time, and I loved giving the shout out. I could have genuinely made it through the skeptic community. I could have been one of the greatest content creators of all time, but I stopped because my depression got to me. I stopped because I let this chase, my self-destructive drive, burned me out to the point where I looked in the mirror of my dorm and my face was crumbling apart because I did not attend to myself for weeks on end because I was so focused on getting this content out to become the greatest content creator on the earth. Now, lack of attention to myself at the time. It's very self-reflective to how, without moderation, the chase for any dream will ruin you. It will completely ruin you, and it will age you in a way where you cannot take that time back. I spent hours upon hours trying to practice my inflections, trying to become the person I truly wanted to be, because I thought making people laugh, making people cry, make people just, enjoy themselves was the ideal way to go. But now I look back on it, it's not something that you should just try to burn yourself out on. If you can't do it, just don't. At this point, you would hear the whole, oh, just keep chasing your dreams, keep working hard, one day you'll make it. No, some days you just won't make it. Some days you have a bad luck streak and you make a bad decision within that bad luck streak, and then you will be in an inevitable downward spiral to destruction. Sometimes you just can't take the fame that comes with such a reputation. Maybe you just can't keep up the schedule. Maybe you just don't like the subject you involve yourself into, but it's too late because you got famous off the subject. There's a multitude of factors. And I feel like when money gets involved, it'll be too late by then to pull out. Because once money is involved, then you have an incentive to stay in a game that will lead to your inevitable downfall. And one thing I will mention, though, is that despite all of my numerous regrets on the channel Satorian_FN itself, I have learned from it. I have learned that people do love drama. I've learned that people love to cherish the goal of being the pure one in any shape or form. And I've also learned that speaking clearly and with a purpose makes people seem like they know what they're talking about, when in reality they don't. Like me for right now, I have no idea what I'm saying right now. Whatever is coming out of my mouth, it just is a jumble of words that I decided to pick out of my brain pool and throw in your face. Okay, that's exactly what this is. And that's exactly what I learned back in my peak creation days. So I want to dig deeper into that period as well, and how that led to where I'm at now, 6-7 years later down the line. I don't remember the time period exactly, but I do know this. It was during my peak years in college, so I was in 2014, 6 years ago. At this point, right, I was isolating myself because I was coming out of high school. I wanted to experiment with things in college. So I experimented with not talking to people, self-isolation, quarantine. I essentially practiced quarantine before the quarantine even happened. I guess you could say I'm based. Who knows? And when I practiced at quarantine, I began to hear my thoughts clearly. I began to understand myself. I began to know what made me tick. I began to know why I decided not to do certain things, or why I love doing other things, or why I am very min-max potential. I listened to myself. I heard my voice. I heard my inner monologue, because that was the only thing I could listen to while I was alone, isolated in my room, locked up for days upon days. There was a stretch where I did not leave my dorm for 2 weeks. In this 2-week time period, my room became more and more of a mess, and it got to the point where there's plates in the bathroom and books in my fridge. I was in shambles. And at this point, my room became a mess. I was making better content because I found out that if I put all of my effort into focusing on content creation, content consumption, and spitting that out to becoming more content to make in the first place, I would be able to be God. However, I was sacrificing my mental health, I was sacrificing my physical health, and I was sacrificing my spiritual health, even though I'm an atheist, because I had one goal. That one goal was all I was looking for. That one goal was my true aim in life. And I feel like with a little bit of balance, I could have made it. I genuinely could have made it. but it is lost. And as time went on, the self-destructive tendencies caught up with me. My parents visited me every now and then. They saw my wreck of a room, and I realized within then, it's like, oh, wait, I have to socialize with people, because if I don't, I will forget how to talk to people. And if forgetting how to talk to people will lead to, well, lack of experience talking with people. And if a lack of experience talking to people, then you get social anxiety because you don't know what to say when someone says, hi, how's the weather? Because generally speaking, when someone says, hi, how's the weather? Or hi, how are you doing? Or hi, hello, how are the kids? What is the normal response there? Well, first of all, there is no casual response in that situation, because that conversation in itself is not even a real ideal situation to be in. If someone walks up to you and says, hey, what's up? How is the weather? You're supposed to say some casual bullshit like, oh, nothing much. The sun is great outside. And then you lead into the conversation you really want to have. It's basically like the salutations. It's basically like the appetizer you need to get into the meal or dessert of the conversation. The meat of the meal in the conversation. And if you don't know that, if you can't pick up that cue, you're going to be stuck on that barrier, stuck on that fence. And the person who's talking to you is going to be already miles ahead in the conversation they want to actually have originally. And with you all the way in the back at the starting line, tripping up at the go hurdle, you're going to look like a fool. And then when you look like a fool, you're going to double down, triple down, and say, "Oh no! Hey, look, and lose all sense of self." Well, at this stage, I decided to also pick up music, as long with my YouTube career. I think at this point was when everything went for the worst, because music on top of being a content creator did not mix, because I can't multitask and spread the skill evenly appropriately upon two separate avenues entirely. Because how my brain works, I need to compartmentalize, and compartmentalizing requires using an X amount of energy and storing an X amount of energy for one activity solely. If I also have to split this X amount of energy I use for miscellaneous activities such as hobbies, and it's been concentrated on making content, and I try to add something in there that's already been full up with, the content creation, the music, trying to shove that in there, something's going to break. And something did. Me. That's why you have this broken human standing in front of you. That's why you have this shattered individual right here. That was my first taste of anything regarding success or victory on the channel. And after that, I was still making videos as usual, but I dropped a video regarding depression, and then I deleted my channel shortly thereafter. At that point, I realized that no matter what, even if you do succeed, even if you have $1 million, even if you're rich, even if you have your own apartment, even if you gain your own independence, even if you attain all of your dreams, all that you ever will be, you reach your maximum potential. If you don't truly answer the questions that have been haunting you, or the questions that you need to answer before you get to move on to the next stage, then you'll never be satisfied with whatever stage you're at currently. And due to that lack of satisfaction, you will never be able to fully understand and fully get to the goal where you need to be. Paradise itself is an illusion, and escaping it should be everyone's goal. Because I feel like, even during this pandemic, right? Perfect example. I have gone, I want to say, a month at a time without leaving the house, or at best 3 weeks. And my eyes glaze over every time I walk outside to try to get something to eat. My eyes glaze over every time I look at the same corner of my room I haven't touched in about a couple of days. My eyes glaze over whenever I play my most favorite game of all time, Rocket League, or whatever game I'm currently watching on at the time. My eyes glaze over as I continue and try to be this person. Well, I'm not, which is an isolationist person who's just sole goal is to outsurvive everyone due to being an isolationist. That is not who I am. I am the type of person who has goals of becoming both well versed in the Normieville, i.e., the land of the outside, and also the internet realm. I want to have both mastered because I feel like I'll be in touch with every single aspect of generation in our universe. However, picking one or the other will mean you will lack in the other. And since I was choosing to parlay or stay in the internet realm, I was losing more and more touch with the outside world and how to talk in general to other people. During my longest stretch of quarantining myself, I began to realize that I love working. I love to work. Without work, I have no purpose. I am what the ideal capitalist worker mind frame should be. Okay? They would love me. They'll love a person like me. I don't do it to please my master. I do it to please myself because I am only fully actualized, fully admonished when I have put in a hard day's work. Completely subjective because that could mean one video, that could mean 5 minutes of editing, that could mean cooking 3 meals, that could mean folding my socks. As long as I can look back on the day and said, hey, I did something today, I walk away and I'm fine. I don't have to worry about ending the game. Now, how I got there and how many of you got there is a brilliant question. I feel like it has to do with this hustle culture. I watched a recent Second Thought video talking about how overworking is embedded into the American mind frame and it will allow owners to manipulate us into working more than what we originally thought we should because we think working fulfills us. In actuality, working shouldn't fulfill you. It just shouldn't, because it's just doing something with a goal that's short term. But if you do that regardless anyway, then wouldn't that mean you're always working? You know what I mean? Like the concept itself of working to fulfillment is quite enamoring, to say the least. But it's there because it has been drilled into our brain. It has been put into our mindset as a sense of valuable beliefs. Now, I have to turn the lights on. Sorry, my eyes are killing me. Now, one thing I will say though, hold up. I actually turned the lights on. The whole spiel was to have this pitch dark black, but I can't if my fucking eyeballs are going to burn out of the sockets. So I'll have to change the schedule, change the mythos. There. You get to see my room, what it is. You get to see me as a person for what I truly am. Okay. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Yes. Escaping the mythos of the work life is very hard to do because the concept itself is supposed to keep you down underneath the capital owner's thumb. Because the sheer fact that you enjoy it and you need it to live. Now, an ideal society would have anyone who happens to work would get the amount of money they're due because, you know, they're worth it. Not because the owner says they're worth it, but because they actually are worth it, because there's merit into what you are working for. You're not working just because you need money. You're working because you're looking forward to pursuing more in the avenue that you're working in rather than just a quick paycheck. It'll allow you to extinguish the thought of working is a necessity. Instead, you'll be focused on working is a part of my true goal. That change of mindset will allow a greater outlook upon life itself through the workplace in general. Now, one thing it does bug me with overworking and the whole concept of escaping paradise is simply the fact that you cannot escape if you don't know you're in a paradise that needs escaping. If you're genuinely okay with being where you're at right now, that's fine. You know, maybe some people love being where they're at. Maybe they love being content. Maybe they love things being the way they are. Maybe they love the status quo. Maybe they love, you know, just being who they are. Nothing more, nothing less. They just love everything about it. And again, that's okay. Because being okay about it is also a goal that we should all strive for. Being okay with where you are and how you got there in the first place is definitely worth praising. Because at the end of the day, that is an end goal, right? To be satisfied completely is the end goal. To understand why you're satisfied as well is also the end goal. If, for example, you want a house, a family, 3 kids, and a lawn, then try to take steps in that direction that'll let you get there as quickly as you possibly can in a reasonable fashion. It's very, very straightforward. Almost to a fault, right? Like, think of it this way. Like, you can't truly take a step forward if you don't have what you want in your mind already. Like, you can't go through the orange door if the orange door wasn't your end goal. Because if the orange door is your end goal, then you'd stop there because you made it. You wouldn't go past it because you already made it. So, for example, if you want to become a content creator and you hit 1,000 subscribers, which is the minimum requirement to get monetized, and that's your goal, anything past that will be beyond comprehension because you are unable to think that far ahead. I'm not saying think big or anything because you're going to make it, but have that in mind while you are pursuing what you are pursuing. Because it is a slight but possible chance of it being a thing. I've always said I hated work. I've always said, you know, I can understand why people love working, why they love being a part of the work culture, why they love anything. I have always said that. Until 2 things happen. Until 1, I reach something and obtain something I loved. And number 2, I actually work for something and am on the process of losing the thing I loved. And with those 2 things made me realize, oh wait, there's more to working than just work. Good example of how I lost, back to selfish on me, is my laptop over here. You can see this fine one over here with the wire management. Don't mind the wire management. If you judge me for wire management, I will slice your throat. Is that I used to be a hentai reviewer on one of my main channels. And this channel got some notoriety, had about 245 subscribers. Not too much, but it was a personal best for me to say the least. And, you know, I was making decent you know, upreach. It was getting up there. And then 2 of my videos got nuked and I got scared, panicked, and said I'm no longer doing these hentai reviews. Now, what this did to my schedule, my work schedule, my brain, and my overall self-esteem was shatter it to its core. Because I had to think of a new branch of content that wasn't going to get nuked. And I was lost. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know. I genuinely did not know what I wanted to do. And I was streaming while that happened, and I lost also the purpose while streaming because I feel like the whole point of me making the channel was to get people to watch the stream. That was the whole purpose of the channel, was to attract enough attention and get those people off the channel to the stream. However, it just didn't work out. And so now I am watching all of my old videos just get massive approval, and then all my new stuff be completely ignored. In comparison, they still get watched, but in comparison, it's not even close. And I've given up. I've been close to giving up multiple times, but I've decided to push through because I felt like giving up on a channel that made it this far at this point is literally going to end any chance or any hope of having a career in this field. Because if I lose the self-esteem and hey, what's up, man? What's up, Stay, man? Stay, Mel, my bad. I lose my self-esteem in regards to what the channel was, you know, a person who genuinely didn't care about anything but his opinion, then I wouldn't make it. Because I told myself when I made that channel, this is gonna be my last shit. I mean, my last avenue of escaping the world. Because I'm gonna have to face myself in the mirror and be like, oh, I should get a real job. Oh, I should focus on school. Oh, maybe we should put this kid shit away, you know? Because at the end of the day, I'm getting closer to 30 than 20 at this point. I'm getting closer every day. And seeing people just skyrocket succeed over me no longer makes me jealous. This makes me, no longer makes me angry. This makes me happy, but regretful at the same time. The regretful part is because, as I mentioned before, if I just had enough struggle to keep myself in bounds, in check, to the point where I don't have to look out for what I'm missing, then I would have made it. What I mean about look out for what I'm missing is that I would have been able to see the inevitable downfall right from the get-go, so I can nip that in the butt before my rise came. Because if I nip it in the butt while my rise is on the way, then my rise will never come again, because the rise itself has been halted due to the nip in the butt in the process. The paradise of the dream itself is something worth escaping sometimes, folks. Maybe the dream just isn't it. Maybe the dream is something that should be attained while you are able to look back and say everything else is accounted for. Like, if one of your realistic goals is to get an apartment, maybe you should look forward to getting that apartment first and then chasing your dream afterwards. You know, like attaining real world goals that are reasonably attainable, like actually possible to achieve without any luck or time or effort, other than, you know, just getting to it. It'll give you more confidence to chase that dream. But I feel like when I was working, I feel like when I was going to school full time, I feel like when I was on the grind, I had more of a reason to rush back home and put it all in my hobby, all the time I had left over. So I can just go back the next day and worry about how am I going to work on my hobby even harder the day after that. Like, it was a very wonderful process to be a part of. But at this point, I just don't know. You know, it's like being satisfied with doggy paddling when you can breaststroke, right? Breaststroke is much more impressive. Breaststroking is very elegant, while doggy paddling is something that shouldn't be, you know, sought after. Another thing I realized too, as to why I'm escaping the paradise of my dreams, is when I was chasing said dreams, irrationally, mind you, irrationally, to the point where I would ignore everything else and only pursue that and only that, is that I was forgetting who I was. I am quite the comic book nerd. One Punch Man nerd myself. I do have an affliction to, well, good manga. And as I said before, Punch Man, I think I have multiple novels of One Punch Man here, just to show you. I have them all. As a matter of fact, I can pull out about like 6 volumes right now, and they're all 1 through 4 here. There. See. And I loved it. Okay. I genuinely loved everything about losing myself into the world of anime, video games, or anything fantasy related, because the real world within itself was not looking too hot. This was before I lost the plot, no pun intended. I feel like the escape itself was attributed to the fact that I didn't have anything else to make me lose the plot. The only thing that was there was the anime, manga itself, was the stories of the characters that went through such treacherous activities, such as Saitama. You want to be a superhero, no more superhero. And he said, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. And he became a hero. Now, he was a D-class hero for the longest time, C-class hero, but he became a hero nonetheless. He made it. Killua, gone. There goes. They borderline achieved him. Killua wanted a best friend. And Gon wanted to meet his dad and also kill people who killed his best friend. You know, very attainable goals that they both achieved. And within a matter of months, you know, reasonable time. Like, it's reasonable if you started right now with a YouTube channel with a decent topic that is kind of spicy, kind of hot, kind of juicy, to get to a point where you can actually have some taste of success. You know what I mean? It's reasonable to get to that point. Now, what isn't reasonable is to complain that you aren't getting any success because you're chasing a dream or goal that shouldn't be fully chased after, because the dream or goal itself is highly unattainable. You know what I mean? Like, you need to be grounded to chase. You can't just go for the stars without any fuel or base to lift you up there. There are a multitude of things that are following this principle, but the main one that does this entirely is the whole process of, you know, becoming anything you want to be. Like, remember when you grew up and someone said you can be the president of the United States one day? And you look at the position now, like, yeah, that's true. I was fucking rich. And while being rich is attainable, and being the president is attainable, is it realistic? And if it isn't realistic and you can't achieve it, no matter how hard you try, you can't get mad because of the fact you didn't get in the first place. Like, it was a borderline unachievable goal. Why were you going after it in the first place if you knew there was a risk of failure that's immensely higher than your chance of passing? Because, you know, statistically, being the president, it isn't that easy. There have been numerous candidates who have fell out within the first round of like 16 candidates on a Democratic or Republican side. I don't know exactly. I'm not that too well versed in politics. I'm trying to get more into it, but yeah. So essentially, you can't expect results if the results that you're looking for are such a rarity, right? Like, basically, when people get mad when they don't make it in a career, in my position exactly, for example, it's like when getting mad that you don't win the lottery. You're playing the lottery. You have like a 1 in 4 million, 1 in 7 million chance of winning. I don't know exactly how the lottery goes in Florida, but it's quite high, quite odd, and quite predatory. But that's the game. And the reason why it's predatory is because people have been known to chase things that are, let's just say it, unattainable. And because people want to obtain things and be seen as no longer average, it's easy to take advantage of that. Like, I can count. You know what? Let's be honest here, folks. Let's be honest. Let's break it down. So I was about 3 to 5 months into my brand new customer service job. I was getting paid a decent chunk. As a matter of fact, I'm still living off the money I made off of that customer service job like 3 years ago. I'm still rolling in that money. However, number one, I was getting slightly overworked, to say the least. In comparison to everyone else in that vicinity, I would receive about 10 to 20 more calls on average every single day compared to everyone else. And I would have to work 5 to 10 times harder than everyone else because of the fact that no one else wanted to work that hard. I can't say because I was black, because there's a lazy black lady in the office and she got away perfectly fine of not doing anything. By not doing anything, I mean, to my standards, like, she would do like literally half the work I would do in a day. And we were trained the same amount of experience, so kind of frustrated me. Anyway, the point was, I was getting overworked because I've always been taught, and I've been drilled to love work, is that the harder you work, the efforts will show, and you will be reaping the benefits later on. And eventually, I did end up reaping the benefits by getting a raise, within I think 3 or 4 months, possibly right before this event I'm about to tell you right now. So basically, I got a raise essentially. And was it worth the raise? No, it wasn't. But I got a raise nonetheless, and it did make me stay a little bit longer than I was originally planning on staying. Now, while this job, it did have calls, it did have me confronting customers I did not like at all. It did have me talking to people on a consistent basis who may or may not have respected me because, you know, I was young and had to work hard. The one thing that was constant was the factor of having no real sense of purpose. I made money. I could have moved out of my house. I could have became the adult I truly aspire to be to this day. But I kept holding back because I was like, maybe there's something greater out there. Maybe I can envision myself in a better position than I am now. Maybe I can be better. Maybe I can do better. Maybe there is a forever. Maybe there won't be a never time like now. And with that mindset, I stumbled across this entrepreneur type. And he said, if you give me $250, I'll give you this course on how to make that money back in a week. And I'm like, sure. $250? That's like, what, 20% of my paycheck? Fuck it. Run it. So I did it. I ran the paycheck to get the course. And the course itself, let's just say you can find it on YouTube right now, okay? Let's just say that same guy's offering that course for $10 now, okay? I got Skimaz. Now, the course simply was basically this. He just said, hey, want to make money? Here's how you do it. Number one, you go to this site, you buy items from that site. Okay? Once you buy the items, you get another artist from this site and you get them to make you a design. Once you get them to make you a design, you take that design, throw it on the product you bought, and sell it for triple the price that you bought it. Or double if you're feeling nice. Now, I think that's called drop shipping, if I remember correctly. But yes, essentially you're just selling Chinese goods. You're becoming a true capitalist, essentially. And sorry, I'm choked up. I ate some hot, spicy chicken wings that make my throat a little bit soggy, a bit wet. Yo, I'm going through a hard time in life right now, so I'm just watching around Twitch streams and streamers questions, keep you motivated live. That's a great question. Keep you motivated is just, you just gotta want to do it. That's basically it. Because if you keep in your head that you're not gonna make it, but you still want to do it, you're gonna be fine. Because if you make it, it'll be that much better. If you don't make it and you enjoy it anyway, then you're doing something you like. And doing something you like is a lot more fun than trying to chase something while doing something you don't like. If that makes any sense. It makes you a lot less anxious, essentially. If you're willing to go through a minimum year without any success whatsoever, then you will have a great time, essentially. But yeah. So he told me about drop shipping itself, and then I'm like, okay, maybe I can get into that. Maybe it's time for me to start selling goods to make money, because I'm tired of working a job I don't like. So I bought the design, I bought the products, and I got ready to set my website up. And then the products came and I got scared. I got frightened because I was afraid that if I took this risk and liked the products and dropped like $2,000 on buying more products to sell and flip on a website, then I would be losing any sense of reality. I was afraid of succeeding, essentially, because I felt like failing is something I'm used to. I know how failure feels like. As a matter of fact, I'm expecting everything I put my hands on to fail no matter what. So if it does happen, I just brush it off and be like, okay, it doesn't matter. I'm all right. I'm fine. But success, I never had true success in the sense of like dream chasing aspect. So when the product came with my design logo on it for me to start selling, I panicked. So I kept it in my trunk for 6 months and never bought the website to sell the products on, never promoted my items, and never contacted the guy who I paid $250 for the video for. So therefore, I just lost about $250, $140 for the design, and another $70 for the product. That's going to be about, I lost about $500 on a venture because I was afraid of succeeding. Now, what's the point of all this? The point of all this is to get it back to this point here. He had me twiddling around his fingers like a little puppet master because I wanted more in life. And when the more came, I was afraid of what the more meant for me because I wasn't ready to be more than what I was. I wasn't ready to transcend. I wasn't ready to become the next level. You know what I mean? Since I wasn't ready, he ran away with a check. The artist I gave money to ran away with a check. The Chinese website I bought the product from, ran away with a check, and my company ran away with my labor. And I was basically left out of the deal, even though I was the main core one of it that put in all the effort into getting something that's really wanted, and now it's just gone. And it's toxic. Okay, it's extremely toxic, and I feel like realizing how toxic that paradise is will allow you to stay grounded in reality and realize that at the end of the day, achieving goals that you can see within your eyes is a lot easier and more rewarding than achieving goals that may or may not happen if you put in a lot of work on a highly unattainable mission. You know what I mean? Like I mentioned before, if your goal is to get a girlfriend, you can continuously just go on dates. That's something you can keep track of. It's something that you're doing actively that keeps you grounded because you are doing something that is genuinely obtainable, genuinely easy to have a decent personality to do is get a girlfriend if you're a heterosexual male, obviously, or homosexual female, I don't give a fuck. And yeah, but becoming a Twitch streamer, becoming a YouTuber, becoming a millionaire off dropshipping, becoming an OnlyFans god, sucking dick, you know, it's not something that you can sustainably chase if it's your only goal and mindset is successful in itself. It's all about living the you now and not the you in the future. Yes, exactly. Because the you in the future will regret everything you do now for him in the future, because the you in the future will look towards the future even further, because look towards the past will be the past and it will be gone. You know what I mean? You have to think 2 steps ahead. You have to think like this. You have to think like, will myself 5 years in the future will like the fact that I spent $2,000 on something that I will never get any benefit from? Will the me 5 years in the future will like the fact that I'm going to have sex with her unprotected and potentially have a baby with her? With me 5 years in the future, you see the point here? Like, you see, you're trying, you have to satisfy yourself while at the same time realize that there's another person ahead of you that is going to have to deal with the consequences of what you're doing currently. You know what I mean? Like, is it worth drunk driving in this car right now if the future you're going to be in prison for the rest of your life? Like, it's like that type of scenario there. Now, again, you can't fully balance this out because that thinking, that mindset might hesitate you. It might throttle you because you will be so focused on trying to satisfy the future self that you won't be satisfying the present self. And not satisfying the present self would mean that you're going to be the future self regretting what you didn't do in the present, which is the past, in that time. It's a constant balancing act that you have to consider consistently on a daily basis. Now, I feel like previous generations, you're asking your rational side instead of holding on to emotions. Yeah, you have to balance. It's basically a balancing act, essentially. Like, I feel like me 5 years ago kind of knew I would be like a genuine, just like black pilled, doomer pilled asshole who only liked, you know, thinking about negativity and bullshit like that. I had a feeling that was gonna be the case. Everything else was a wild card, but that I knew that specifically. So what I did 5 years ago was basically try to save as much money as I can for that doomer black pilled motherfucker in the future, and just try to, you know, live up as much as I can so he can look back in the past and have funny stories to tell. Basically like that. A hard mindset to build, but once you do it correctly, yes, it's very worth it. But it's like you have to go through such traumatic experience to even get there in the first place. Like for example, how I even got to being such a narcissistic, I guess technically speaking, I'm fucking streaming. I'll get like such a pessimistic, like selfish, self-centered, but just negative person in general was the constant betrayals I went through and the naivete that I had going into multiple situations that led me into basically becoming shattered, you know. So yeah, it's like you have to learn the hard way to become a hard person. Obviously, like you don't become a hard person just because you wake up one day on the wrong side of the bed. Like shit fucks you up. You know what I mean? Like you put yourself in situations that you don't really mean to be, and it just ends up, like, whoops, I'm fucked up. Whoops, I'm kind of, whoops, I'm done. Whoops, I'm screwed. You know what I mean? Like it's just not really gonna do anything if you don't do anything. Now the question is though, is like, what is enough to the point that you're going to put in enough effort that you don't regret it, but at the same time something that won't permanently tarnish you for the rest of your life? That's tricky. Like, we're going to a party at a frat house when you're in high school. Would that be worth the social experience, even though you might like get roofied or some shit? Like, what? Like, you have to balance that shit out, because like you get the social experience from going to a frat house as a high schooler, because that's a massive bonus for a social experience. But you also might get negative aspects from that. You know what I mean? People only improve through suffering. It's pretty teenager to say. It is the truth. Like, you don't like, you can't become an introspective person. You can't want to improve yourself if you don't have something that is either worth improving, or you've never been through like an actual struggle to improve from in the first place. Like, the lowest part of my life was peak incel, borderline school shooter mentality. And since I literally was at the lowest point at that point, if I'm not there, then I'm vastly improving from where I was, which was the lowest point in my life. It's like that situation. I guess the best way to go about it is like, just do not stop doing things because it feels weird to do them. Just let things go their course. If you naturally grow out of it, if you naturally phase out of it due to lack of interest, just let it happen. But don't abruptly stop it, because if you abruptly stop it, then you're going to look back on it a month, 2 months, a year from now and be like, God damn, I regret not being a gambler anymore, because I could have made $2 billion if I put more effort into this gambling, affliction, I guess. I don't fucking know. Thing is that when you were saying it's kind of possible, since we're all humans, we can't see the future, we always regret stuff, look back and wish we didn't do something. In my opinion, it's all about living now, avoiding doing dumb stuff, planning for the future without. There's the thing though, like, you can't not have regrets though. That's the thing. So it's like, that's what I'm saying, it's balancing. Like, you have to choose, either would you rather be okay taking risks now and worrying about upsetting your future self, or playing it safe and have your future self be safe but have massive regrets because you played it safe. Like, you have to pick one or the other. Like, you have to. There is no like compromise you can make. But it's worth addressing, because like if it stays fine. It's worth addressing because like it's solely based on personality, right? Like, if you're a person who is very emotionally grounded, you make most of your decisions off of emotions, then maybe you should try, thinking logically and see, well, if I apply logic in the situation, would I still think the same? And vice versa. If you're a very logical person, very cold, analytical person, you apply emotions, would you think the same? And should you take one path or the other after taking both perspectives? Now, again, it is literally impossible to do both. Literally impossible. And it is safer to take the risk, because at best, at worst, you're going to regret it in the future. Okay? Assuming it's not anything egregious, of course. If it's anything egregious, then don't fucking take the risk if it's anything egregious. But at worst, you're going to end up, setting yourself back a couple of days, months, even weeks, flip it around. But your future self be like, damn, I really did make a fucking mixtape in 2 days. Some bullshit like that. So you would basically not get out of your comfort zone and would regret it later anyways. Yeah, pretty much. So you have to choose. Like, I think there has to be labels for this shit though, right? There has to be labels. Like, not getting out of your comfort zone would be, I guess, logically, right? Because you don't want to do anything that isn't planned. You want to stay in line with yourself so you can have a strict 5-year plan to have a kid, picket fence, and a shiny house in 10 years. Like, you have to keep everything in line. You can't go outside and gamble. You can't go out with your friends. You can't go to church every day. You have to stay in line and logistically analyze every single thing to get it done, to get to the final goal and have midlife crisis later on. Or you can have that goal, but do whatever the fuck you want on the side. And if you happen to stumble upon that goal while you're doing all the shit you want to do, then maybe, you know, maybe it takes longer to get there, but you'll enjoy your life along the way. Like, I feel like, no, I feel like it's like you just gotta make up labels. Like for how do I explain this? For very vague principles as this, you just have to like go to the core. Like, for example, comfort zone, I apply that as logic and like and analysis. There isn't like a term for that, but you gotta be logistic and analytical enough to not get distracted. And the spontaneity term is more like an emotional reaction, because you're like basically going to party mode to, okay, now I wanna, you know, go to church, and like it just, you know, life is kind of fucking life is kind of hard. Okay, life is kind of fucking hard. I don't think it's possible answer at all. It might be though. Like it's like you have to have, okay, having the option of both in your mind at all times is like being able to zoom out of what you're doing right now and be like, okay, do I want to do this because I think it'll benefit me now or benefit me in the future? And you weigh at that moment which one you want more, and then you just go, because you can't do both. Weigh me for the future and for the present day, because that's just literally impossible. Because at the end of the day, the future is always going to regret what you did in the past, and the present you is always going to hate looking towards the future, because the future is just a vague, amorphous blob. Yes, exactly. You got to play third person. It's not, but that within itself is going to cause hesitation. So like, you can't. It's a whole conundrum. It's a whole conundrum. Yeah, third person fiasco is basically the best way to describe it. It's not really an easy concept to grasp though. Like trying to grasp the whole concept of like willpower itself, right? Because like willpower itself is like the ability. Well, what's the definition of? Hold on. I guess I should look up the definition of willpower, right? That would actually benefit me a lot more in a specific case, because if I don't look up the definition, I would be kind of lost on this specific point here. Is this fucking up my thing? Okay. No. Damn, it should take forever. It's like, I guess it's like, I mean, willpower is like this, like, what caused you to wake up in the morning to go exercise, right? Exercising is actually a brilliant example of future self and regretting and present day self, because at the end of the day, if you don't like, okay, here it is. Willpower is control exerted to do something or restrain impulses. Okay, so it's basically just existing and not doing things. Exercise. So if you're starting exercising as a concept is for the future you, because the present day you does not like exercise. If you're just starting out, there's no fucking way. Unless you're like already like a 6-pack Andy, present day you is not gonna like exercise. However, if you want to do it for the future you, then that's something that you can look forward to. However, current day you is gonna fucking hate you for the temporary moment which you're doing it. Look, I think it would be possible if we could control our emotions better, but we are actually animals. So, for example, when you see a hot chicken, you see imagine something naughty, and to let's get out of the way of things, someone's possible. Yep, it's like willpower. Willpower, bro. Um, something like you have to have an out of body experience every time you try to do something, right? It's kind of crazy. Um, also you have to realize what type of person you are, right? Like, cause I am a self-destructive, dogmatic person, right? Like, if I want to get something done, I will do everything to get it done. Like, no matter if it causes me to lose 2 days sleep, lose friendships, lose my girlfriend, lose my entire life, lose my friends, lose my livelihood, lose my health. I don't care if I die. If I want something, I want to go and get it. That is who I am. Now, I have to balance that out because if I keep doing things that would lead me down a self-destructive path, I will literally self-destruct. But the problem is, since I am such a self-destructive person, without the aspect of hardcore work being implemented into my constant everyday life, I will be bored. And the boredom will breed, the stagnation of depression, ADHD manifested times 45, cabin fever, blah, blah, blah. As an example, doesn't have to do with one, but you're basically just a flesh sack of emotion. Yeah, exactly. It just nonstop. And so I guess what I've been trying to do, I've been trying to disperse my self-destructive tendencies upon a multitude of projects per day. And what this does, it doesn't allow me to fully tunnel myself into one thing specifically to the point where nothing else matters. If I multitask, I'm able to just scope out and do something else instead. So you have to be able to utilize your emotional state, your irrational side, in a sense where it's not as irrational. Now, of course, I do end up wasting more time than I would on one project. However, I'm not as self-destructive because I have a multitude of things to do in the first place. You know what I mean? Like, you have, but getting to that point, it's gonna be kind of weird. Like, how do you find out what type of personality you are if you don't know? Like, like to get where I was, to find out what type of like genuine person I was, it wasn't no test. I didn't go to a psychologist. Therapy doesn't work for me at all. I'd rather be drugged than therapy. What I really what really caused me to like get in my brain as to what type of personality I was about like 2 weeks of isolation. Like, just no one talking. Like, it was literally me and the mess on my floor that got me to realize, oh wait, the only reason why I do things the way I do them is because I love doing the things the way I do them that way. You know what I mean? So finding out how you tick will be easier because you'll be able to adjust accordingly. And you gotta make a lot of sacrifice your own natural will. You gotta leave something to grab something else. It's all a big trading game. Nothing's free. Everything needs. Yeah, that kind of sucks. Sacrifice itself is kind of not like a great trait to attain to. Like, the whole grind 24/7. It's not a good idea. It's because burnout is the worst feeling in the world. Like, well, within reason, right? It's not like getting murdered or anything like that. Like emotion wise, it's one of the worst feelings because like you have something that you know you can do, and you also know that by doing it, you're going to get to that goal faster, but you put too much effort into the goal to the point where you no longer have any enthusiasm about it. Thus, you won't chase the goal. Thus, you will never reach it entirely because you'll be done with it because you have, become tired of it. Can't even ask people to help with that, lol, because it's possible. Exactly. So you have to understand how you work and then tell people, hey, this is how I work. Stop me and curb stomp me if I do X, Y, and Z. Like a lot of people, not a lot of people, but like there's some people who are the exact opposite of me, right? Like, they are the lazy aspect of like work ethic wise, but they still want the same end goal as I do. And I find that really odd. Like, if you're going to, like be a YouTuber, for example, why the fuck would you just not do what you can within reason to make it attainable? Why just go with the minimum amount of effort as you possibly can and just hope everyone will be okay with it? You know what I mean? Like, if you won't watch it, then why the fuck was it even worth putting out? You know what I mean? Like, it's like that type of concept. I would never understand that. But being on the opposite side of the spectrum, of course I can't understand it, because I would just like put everything I can into the shit. You know what I mean? Like, I instantly, like, in my first career, I bought like $400 worth of supplies. Not here. Talking about like way 2015 when I was like a broke college student. $400 supplies just to get my first YouTube channel started, and I could barely afford like books. So like I kind of went overboard in that aspect. I mean, I had to calm it down. And depending on the way they think, they'll misinterpret and judge it wrongly. For example, if you approach someone and say you're nice, the person can think, oh, this guy's a nice guy too, or this guy's great. Yeah, you know, it applies in dating too. Dating, funny enough. Going to some bullshit, like, you know, trying to be a YouTuber, a SoundCloud rapper, some like a businessman, entrepreneur, Instagram, whatever, some bullshit, like becoming a person. Dating is easier if you have something you're chasing, right? That isn't a woman. Obviously, if you're chasing a woman, they're gonna be like, what the fuck you doing me, bro? I'm a human being. It's fuck on my dick. I mean, like you have to do something. And I found it like, if you're not looking for it, it'll come to you. That being said, you have to put yourself on the market, and you have to make yourself looking like pleasable, this, that, and the third. You know, a lot of things have to go on. Having interest make you interesting. Exactly. What's up? I believe in you. I don't believe in myself. What's up? Yes, exactly. And it's like, I feel like it's hard to understand that having interest makes you interesting, because having interest is hard to do. Like generally speaking, like, what do you want to do? What do you want to be? We're leaving paradise because paradise is holding us back. What do you want to do? You want to be a firefighter? You want to be a fucking policeman? You want to be a fucking window cleaner all your fucking life? What do you want to do? If you don't know that, then how do you know what your interests are? You know what I mean? And if you don't have any interests, then you're going to be just like a stale piece of bread. It's going to eventually just wither away and just die. Corona just arrived, parrot. Exactly. And without that interest, then you'd have nothing else but what? Natural desires, sexual desires, and that's not going to be a thing if you don't have anything else chasing. I mean, it's just kind of ridiculous. Yeah. The whole point of escaping paradise, though, is the paradise of, ironically, dreams within themselves. Because the dream paradise is that, you know, you can get whatever you want by working hard, but I've spent the past 7 years working hard, and that didn't really get me anywhere nearer to my true goal. Matter of fact, it got me even further away from anything I ever wanted. It made me cut off all the people I've ever like looked to being friends. So therefore, I should just escape that mindset and just become a normie. I'm trying to become a normie, okay? I'm trying to go back to being a normal person. At one point, I was a weeaboo, okay? I had bought like 30 different manga. I was the scum of the earth at one point. I just want to go back to being normal. I want to leave this idealistic mind frame of everything's gonna be okay as long as you keep working the day away. I want to get away from that. You know what I mean? How does it? Let me ask you something. How does it feel? I don't know if you're like any of you guys like this, but how does it feel being a normal person, wakes up every day, puts their clothes on, goes to work, comes back, and the first thing you want to do is not, you know, boot up their computer and try to be a fucking hustler and make $20,000 a fucking minute on some website. The first thing they want to do is watch some stupid TV drama, drink a beer, and laugh at it. And that's it. They love that shit. They love that's what they want. Like, I want that life. I want it so bad. I hate constantly just trying to be happy by working my life away. I hate that. Like, why do I have to be happy by continuously working? Why can't I be happy by just doing nothing? I tried playing the game like yesterday, and every second it went by, I'm like, oh, you could be recording, you could be editing right now. You could be making $5 right now. You could be actually making some music right now, dude. Like you could be getting a job right now, dude. Like you could actually like fucking study right now, dude. Like you could like I don't want that. When I want to do nothing, I want my mind to just go blank. And then when I have to do stuff, I just want to do it. Like I want to get that shit out the way, you know what I mean? Both ways gets result. Working harder takes longer. Working smarter is faster, both of them. I don't love it as literally a hard punch. It's like I feel like which is easier? Is it easier to transition from that life to being like a Twitch scumbag weeaboo like we are, or is it harder, or is it easier to transition from us going back to what we were before we had Twitch and the internet? Like which one is generally harder? At this point, I feel like it's a lot. I can't tell. At this point, I can't tell. I was just talking with like my friend like not too long ago before I started this shit. Going back, yeah, I feel that. And it was so hard not to say poggers while talking to him. It was so hard not to bring up Dr. Disrespect every 5 seconds because I don't know what the fuck happened to Dr. Disrespect. It was so hard not to mention like all these like random Twitch streamers I watch all 24/7 because he doesn't watch that shit, because he's just a regular normie who like goes on dates every single fucking day of his life. Like it was so hard not to bring up like internet memes and shit. Like it was genuinely holding me back. What's up, Lisa Makas? Like it was you don't have that problem yet? Like it's just it was like I have brain rot, dude. Like I've been on internet culture for so long, like it's literally a part of me. Like whenever I hear Big Chungus Omega Low or some shit like that, I laugh, even though I know it's bad, because I know it's like super ironic, but I'm so meta into the shit that like it's what I am, and I want to escape that dumbass lifestyle. I want to be a normal person. I want to assimilate into being a regular grown ass adult, man. I want to go back. Well, I would say if you want to do nothing all your life, then you probably won't have that TV that you will watch the TV drama on, and you won't have that beer. Well, if you want to do nothing, well, it's not okay. Here's the thing, because like being a normie it looks like nothing, right? Like being NPC mode, it feels like you're doing nothing with your life. That's what it generally feels like. No, I know. But I'm trying to dive deeper into that though, right? I'm trying to dive deeper in that because like the whole point of it is like think about being an NPC for like 2 seconds. Like it's a funny joke, ha ha ha, you're an NPC, but if you don't have to think as deeply as you think about thinking all the time, you know how much shit you'd get done? Like, you do realize, like, how much you're holding yourself back by thinking about thinking constantly? Like, it's like, it genuinely just, like, when's the last time, again, TV drama, for example, when's the last time you ever sat and saw some TV drama and, like, just laughed at it because it's TV drama, not because it's a dumb TV drama that has dumb normie jokes and it doesn't have any deep fried dank 100 epic meme jokes. You know what I mean? If you don't have to think deeply about thinking, wait, what? If you don't have to think deeply about thinking, no, I'm in overthinking, but I try to sound smart. Okay, don't get off my nuts. You get off my nuts. I try to sound smart. But yeah, like, you know, imagine watching TV. Imagine listening to the radio. You know what I mean? Imagine talking to people. Imagine trying to be a normal person. Like, just like we make fun of that all the time, right? But it's with a sense of slight jealousy. Because we know that us making fun of them won't matter because they won't get it. Like, it's like talking to a wall. It's like telling a wall, hey wall, you're inanimate and you're never gonna do anything other than being an inanimate piece of plywood that's gonna help me keep all the elements out of my life, wall. And then the wall doesn't respond. That's basically what insulting an NPC is like. I mean, yeah, they're gonna get mad because like, oh, I'm not an NPC, I have a life, but at the end of the day, they don't give a fuck. They're just gonna walk away. Use glasses. Bro, glasses don't make you smarter, they just make you think you're smarter. Fuck. Yeah, that's what escaping paradise is. It's just escaping It's just becoming normie. It's the normie transition. Imagine being a personality that is a fake persona that doesn't have to be accountable for anything to anyone. Then you could say or do whatever you want. Then you'll realize you're living that troll, ultimate freedom. Well, the thing is, right? True. Basically, being an NPC is like being an internet troll, except in IRL. Yeah, because like you're actually a troll, but you're not joking about it. Like you're a troll for real. Like yeah, because the whole point of a troll is to just say shit without thinking about it, right? That's the whole point. Like you go up to someone and say, "Hey, you have a fat face, loser. You're ugly and you're tall, you loser," and you just walk away. And you go to someone else. "Hey, you're poor." Walk away. Someone else. "Hey, you have foot fungus." Walk away. That's it. You just gotta be a troll. You didn't think about being that. You just became that over time. So you were actually running that troll. Yeah, probably. I don't fucking know. It's just the only thing. Like, I'm gonna be honest here. The only thing this internet culture injection overdose bullshit has given me is oversight into what like any internet celebrity is like. Like, for example, I can watch someone like a YouTuber or Twitch streamer and be like, okay, so they did this by doing X, Y, and Z, and they got here by doing this. I get the background knowledge, but that's basically all the benefits I get from being disimmersed in internet culture. That's literally it. Karens won't punch, but they will get a manager to do it. A Karen stan is like a JoJo fucking McDonald's manager with French fries. I don't know. The joke is funnier in my head. But yeah, that's just, you know what? Perfect example. Karens, right? Imagine the only thing in your life that is your true like struggle, that is truly something that gets you upset, is because someone doesn't do a thing you like in real life. And you confront them and you just walk away and never see them again. Like, I assume after that, she probably, you know, got in the car, went home, just chugged some wine, smoked a cigarette, you know, just played with some problem with being a troll. If you piss someone off or saying something in your face. True. Yeah, no, yeah, I didn't read that shit. Like I was gone, dude. I was like, I want to be Karen, okay? I want to be Karen for a day. I do, okay? Because it's like having all the power of an internet troll, except in real life, and you're an older woman. So with those three factors combined, you have the ultimate fucking shield around you. An impenetrable shield. You can't penetrate this toxicity. You know? Your conscience has downfalls that you don't apply your wisdom to your approach, fit random truths will cause. True. Whoa. Stop. Get off my gonads. But it's like, so like, for example, when a Karen says you're bad at your job, you can't say shit back to her because she has so much power over you, because she's paying, well, not paying your salary, but she's paying for a service that you have to give to her because it's your job. So that's one power dynamic. The second power dynamic is when you respond with, "Oh, I'm sorry, we don't have caramel marshmallow, I'm sorry," she can be like, "Well, I don't give a fuck, give me it anyway." So like, what if you repeat the thing you just said, she's gonna say, "No, fuck you again." And then the manager comes in, the person above you, and then she's like, "Well, bitch, I won this thing for free." And you can't, like, what is this? That is secret sauce, improving conversation deeply. Yes, I want to be a Karen. I want to transform. Like, I want to. You know what it is? What I do every day now. I've been doing it for a week. I exercise for about an hour at 1 a.m. every day, and I'm slowly getting more muscle. And the whole point of that is to have my bravado become more menacing. And if I am physically menacing, then whatever I say is instantly more menacing because I'm physically menacing regardless. You know what I mean? And but the thing is, yeah, you became hated by strangers that you will never meet again because who the fuck wants to meet a Karen? Like it is such a beautiful, impenetrable defense mechanism. Because here's the thing, right? If you hate someone, why would you go out of your way to like confront them again if you know how they're gonna react towards you? You know what I mean? It's like you know what Karens are like? Karens are like Chihuahuas, right? Like aggressive as shit, but they have no defense, like physical defense, because you can just wreck their shit. Like you can punch a Karen and their jaw will shatter instantly, like guaranteed. Like think of the average Karen in your brain. Punch their jaw right now, and they'll be in the hospital for a month. But that being said, if you do that, you lost the optics battle, so you can't hit them, right? And if you try to talk back to them, they can just scream louder than you. So you can't roast them because they can just scream louder than you and win that optics battle. And it's same thing with Chihuahua. If you try to kick a Chihuahua to bite you, kick a Chihuahua to bite you, then you look like a piece of shit because you just kicked a little ass dog. Karens get along with each other. I mean, that's basically like, why would a Karen get along with another Karen? Like, the whole point of being the Karen is you have the power dynamic, and you have someone else who's matches your level. It's gonna be like Jotaro, Dio, Jotaro, Dio. It's like, hold on. It's like, it's like Jotaro, Dio. It's like this, right? You can't, like, it won't end well. Someone's going down. Another person who does win, they're just not gonna be the same, obviously. Or will they absorb the other Karen's power? I don't know. If you shattered Karen's jaw, the vicious black hole that the world was being protected from will leak out and destroy the world. Karen's mouth is the only thing keeping us from... Exactly. Well, obviously, they have to get great blowjobs. I mean, if they don't, then no one's gonna keep them around, obviously. They gotta be good at something. I mean, that's just common sense. Like, what are we doing here, fella? Hello, what are we doing here? Honestly, like, what are you doing here, bro? Like, I just want to be a Karen, okay? I just want to be a Karen. That's all I want in my life. Like, if I have one thing, I just want to yell at people who get my order wrong. You know what I mean? Yes, we can call their mouths intergalactic cock sleeves. That sounds beautiful. I just want to be able to yell at someone without feeling guilty about it. Okay, that's all I want to do. Last time I ever did that, I like had a panic attack. Like I want to get over this. You know what I mean? I want to say, hey, you're bad at your job. And the person like, I'm sorry, I had to give birth to twins last night and I didn't have enough money to pay for the hospital bill, so they let me go after pregnancy. My placenta is still bleeding and I don't know what to do. I'm a student. Like, I want to be able to look at that and be like, you still got my order wrong, bitch. Like, I want that. We need to start a movement to protect ICS. I mean, hey, anything to keep the universe intact. You know what I mean? As much as I hate Karens, they're like the predators in the food cycle, right? If you take out the predators in the food cycle, what happens? The entirety of the fucking ecosystem goes chaotic. Order is lost. So with Karens, they keep the order. Because Karens are the main customers for restaurants. Because if there weren't Karens, there wouldn't be any restaurants for there to be Karens in the first place. Exactly. So we should preserve the predators because they are rare creatures. Because if you truly think about it, people are becoming more and more sympathetic. Simple. Thanks for following Double X Mall. They're becoming more simple, empathetic to one another. If you become more empathetic to one another, you're gonna have less of an instance to follow. All right, man. See you later, X Mall. I'll be back tomorrow same time. You know what I mean? Like, it just like you want. What about child predators? Okay, that's no, kill them all. That's not the same thing. I want them all dead. Yeah, you know. Oh, fuck. What if we lived in a world where you can choose whether or not to be an NPC and go back to being one? Because I feel like Karens are NPCs, right? You can't be like an internet plugged in Karen, right? Because you would then have to have sympathy to laugh at jokes in general, right? We need to put the Karens and child predators in the big pit with weapons and they'll kill each other. I mean, I like that idea. You know how happy basically everyone in the world would be if that was just a thing? If we can just snap the... You know what? Here's the thing, right? If I had a genie and he said, I'll give you 3 wishes, but if you... And I'm like, okay. I wish, number 1, whatever the fuck Lisa just said right there, just get rid of all that shit. And number 2 and 3, give him someone else who needs my wishes. That's all I want. Just take care of the Karens, take care of the predators, and the world will be like 70% better. 70%. Instantly. Because like child predators are like they're quite popular. I mean, so yeah. All right, guys. That was fun. That was quite fun. I'll be on tomorrow around what time was on? 10:30 p.m. I think. Yes, I'll put it on the schedule. So yeah, see you guys next time. Follow if you haven't followed, and so long. Yes, Karens are very vicious. Oh, we need a game where we match convicted predators and what? Oh, I did see that. I did see. Yes. Bro, I saw. Oh, what do you call it? Hippie's wife? I don't know. Mississippi. No. That was a bad joke. You're fired. Okay, I'm gone.